Now that we've got everything laid out, let's start to give it some details and color. To me, this is the fun part. I'm not going to tell you what you need to use to make these pictures. We all have our preferences with media. Some people like crayons, some people like colored pencils or watercolors or whatever you want to use. I did use a ruler to line up some parts when I was coloring stuff in, so maybe that's a good idea. I used a combination of Sharpies and colored pencils and ballpoint pen even, and watercolors to make this. So it's kind of a mixed media piece. But use whatever you have, or whatever you want to use. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't use. If you want to paint, paint. If you want to do the whole thing in markers, go for it. I did kind of like using the ballpoint pen here. I hadn't drawn with that in a while. But really have fun with these. This is my favorite part of drawing, is just kind of adding everything once everything's kind of laid out. Don't get discouraged if everything doesn't look exactly like you want it to. My drawings hardly ever look exactly like I want them to. But that doesn't mean they're bad. I think we're our own worst critics. We always think our own drawings are worse than they probably actually really are. Take your time. Craftsmanship counts. Neatness counts. You can use colors that you would see in real life, or you can make stuff strange colors that they wouldn't normally be. That's your choice. This is where our drawings really come together. Take your time, and I bet you'll be really proud of what you come up with here, because these can look fantastic when they're done, and it really surprises people that you can draw something looking so 3D, like real life. Again, all drawing is just little tricks, and this linear perspective idea, this very scientific way of drawing, is one of those big tricks that can amaze people. This is a hard project, and this concept of perspective, going back to a vanishing point, can be confusing. I like to jump around a lot when I draw. I work on the right side, then I work a little bit on the left side, the bottom, up. Just kind of keep revisiting areas that I think can use some work. And slowly you see the whole picture kind of come together. Color in one direction makes it look nicer. No scribbly coloring. We're too old for that. And it also seems kind of lazy to me. No great artwork is done lazily. I've seen some fantastic artwork from kids just your age doing these. So I really do believe that you can do this. Just little details bring these kind of drawings alive. Like, I'm going to give this guy a man bun. That kind of gives him a personality. I haven't drawn one of these kind of rooms in a long time, so I really did have fun doing this, and I hope you guys do too. It is a fun and very scientific way to draw. It's really how your eyes see things. Keep with it. A little perseverance goes a long way. Now, I did say you could use whatever you want, and I mean that, but if you're going to use something like regular markers, you can't watercolor over those, because if you do, the colors bleed and it looks bad. If you want a watercolor, you've got to use something like Sharpies or ballpoint pen, even colored pencils, crayons, oil pastels. That all works really well with watercolors, but normal markers do not. But it is okay to use normal markers if you're not going to watercolor, so whatever you're comfortable with. Watercolors is something I usually do last, but it is okay to do it a little bit of watercolors and then go back over them again with some other media. I do that all the time. Stick with it. Have fun with this, and I really can't wait to see these, because it is one of my favorite projects.